Recently, I left my position as senior writer at Niche Gamer to pursue my own project. Please stay tuned after this video for a message about the future of my content, ways to support my work, and my plans to grow this channel into something great. Thank you.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Last fall, there was a push by a group of game journalists to condemn the usage of nuclear bombs as endgame content in the then upcoming release of Fallout 76. The soft souls over at Vice Games, formerly known as Waypoint before they were rolled back into the company, I wonder why, kicked off the trend with an article posted on October 12th that criticized the weapons inclusion in the game as an area where power fantasies hit a breaking point. An early sticking point of the piece was criticism levied at GameSpot for a deleted tweet in which they described a nuclear blast within Fallout as epic. Within days of that post, articles began popping up an increasing list of sites. Journalists at Paste Magazine and Unwinnable essentially repeated the rhetoric of Vice Games writer Cameron Kunzelman, while the folks at Motherboard decided to take a different approach by interviewing nuclear war experts on their thoughts to the game. As is to be expected, the experts, and one student, were not fans of their depiction, a sentiment that led to a bevy of sites spewing clickbait-driven headlines warning that nuclear war experts are not happy with Fallout 76. On the one hand, it's semi-understandable why those tasked with knowing the ins and outs of nuclear weaponry might have a hard time enjoying their use in the escapist fantasy that is video gaming. But on the other, it seems to miss the point of what escapism actually is. A negligence of understanding that is a sin less forgivable to those journalists whose career is writing about gaming. Read Vice Games often enough, to which I apologize if you do, for I can relate to that pain. And one thing you'll learn about Cameron Kunzelman is that he has no qualms when it comes to murdering people in games. He enjoys Battlefield 1, is a big fan of the Dark Souls series, and he most certainly had a blast playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. While writing specifically about the shooting within Mafia 3, he had this to say. The handguns blaze in Mafia 3. They make this chunk 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 noise. Like they're trying as hard as they can to just throw the bullets out. Lincoln Clay is a good shooter, and the shots find their marks. Huge splats of blood fly out. The bodies convulse. Suspenders pulls out his shotgun, and he's making his way around to Lincoln's left so he can get the optimal angle on snuffing out the protagonist's lights. He's so confident, and despite the knowledge that Lincoln is controlled by me and Suspenders is controlled by a fairly delimited AI script, I still get a little shaken up. Suspenders has gotten me a few times. This could be another time. Within the context of the piece, he has fun with the combat and he believes it to be the best way for Mafia 3 to tell its story. A valid perspective, if not for the hypocrisy of much of Cameron's career. This sentiment is the same for the writers of any of the articles already mentioned. It's not difficult to find instances of them enjoying games in which the player partakes in bloody deeds that in real life would be traumatic and evil. So one must wonder why nuclear bombs are where they draw the line. Certainly, every time they shoot another polygonal human inside the world of an action game, they don't immediately begin questioning the morality of murder. So why all of a sudden is some in-game actions taking things too far? There is no denying that nuclear bombs are terrifying. Live footage of an actual nuclear detonation is a heart-stopping affair. The goosebumps that rise from the chill that forms upon seeing clips of the Trinity bomb test is a reaction that stems from the existential dread that these powerful weapons conjure inside the minds of even the most strong-willed among us. It's horrifying to imagine what will happen to the world around us the next time a bomb goes off in a civilized area of the globe. Within mere moments, society on every imaginable level will change. And that's only if a single bomb was to go off in just one city. That doesn't even begin to take into account the awful implications of another potential world war. But all the fear that nuclear bombs instill within the very core of my being is what makes video games such a great experience. To most people, it's not difficult to separate fiction from reality. And in fiction, nuclear bombs are awe-inspiring. At the risk of sounding momentarily callous, I also believe the same to be true in reality. The science beyond the blast and the sheer sight of a mushroom cloud is incredible. Though in the real world, that quick moment of scientific awesomeness is immediately crushed by what that explosion represents. But in gaming, there is no depressingly crushing aftermath. I can see the fungal-shaped monster in the sky within the realm of Fallout and not have to question the implications of war and death. In that sense, GameSpot's tweet was spot on because seeing the mushroom cloud drawn out in all of its digital and pixelated greatness is nothing short of epic. As a whole, that is one of the wonderful benefits of gaming. It lets us enjoy otherwise horrible things in a guilt-free environment where we are free of consequence. Why else can I giggle as I lob a mini nuke at a settlement of human NPCs in Fallout 3, but cry at the very real tragedy that was the usage of nukes during World War II? Too many game journalists have forgotten how to have fun in a hobby that they should have passion for. In our hyper-politicized society, most people want to turn on gaming to escape. This is conjecture on my part, but I feel it's safe in stating that the majority of consumers are not purchasing Fallout 76 or any other game with nuclear weaponry and worrying about the implications of those bombs in the reality outside of their TV screens. They just want to nuke their friends in the digital confines of a silly and over-the-top video game. All of this isn't to say that games can't be political or shouldn't be. Some of my favorite games have a deeper message. But come on! Blowing people up in Fallout is hardly an action that needs to be turned into something more. Yet sadly, being turned into something more is what our current internet outrage culture is built around. Because just this week, once again making the near-year-old article upon which this video is based timely, is that there is now anger aimed at kill streaks in the upcoming Call of Duty. Modern Warfare features white phosphorus as a kill streak bonus in the multiplayer component of the game. White phosphorus, as many of you probably know, is a pretty terrible chemical weapon, and its real-world effects are pretty horrifying.
What? Oh no.
Footage out of Syria just a few years ago when it was used upon civilians is no doubt fucked up. But so is footage of people who have been shot, or run over, or set on fire, or impaled on spikes, or attacked by vicious animals, or whatever other violent thing you can come up with. But again, that is in the real world. Video games aren't real, and the violence we engage in within such experiences have no detrimental effect on our own well-being. So when GameSpot writes about how white phosphorus use is a war crime, I must ask, who cares? Running people over and gunning down civilians may not be a war crime, but it's still pretty horrible in reality, yet we do it with glee in games. I laugh my ass off as I murder countless digitized NPCs in GTA 5. Because they're not fucking real. Nukes and Fallout are not real. White phosphorus in Call of Duty is, you guessed it, not real. And don't get me wrong, weapons of mass destruction are an invention bred out of the worst tendencies of humankind. But in the sandbox that is an online game, allowing for the worst of these tendencies makes for an experience where people can roleplay in a myriad of ways. Don't like nukes, even if imaginary? Well, good news, you can play hero and work with a group of friends to try and prevent their usage. In Fallout 76, nothing within the coding of the game forces you to launch missiles at other players, so form a dedicated clan and protect the missile sites. Foil the plans of those who play villain. The magic of gaming is that we are allowed these opportunities. Most people watching this video are nowhere near the class ranking of the elite. As average citizens, we have no pieces in play upon the board that is the complex game of geopolitics and war. If a nuke was to go off tomorrow, there is absolutely nothing we could do about it. That thought understandably gives some people pause. We are victims to the whims of those with the power to destroy a city in less than a moment. Which is why video games and the escapism they offer are special. In the realm of most games, we are all the elite, and sometimes we all want a power fantasy where we can play Death, the destroyer of worlds, free from consequence. As you can see in this video, I am taking steps to improve my content. I have commissioned an artist to make original backgrounds, graphics, and other content. And while it's not in this video yet, I also have a musician making original music for an intro and outro, as well as music to play during my videos themselves. Because of this, I will be removing old videos from this channel and re-uploading them with revised scripts, graphics, and better voiceovers. I'll be changing my recording setup later this week, so things can only improve from here. My plan is to delve into weekly YouTube content. What this means is weekly game reviews and impressions, as well as an original video editorial to air each week on an as of yet undetermined day. I hope to bring my investigative journalism to a new platform, so this video is the last one which will be based on previous work. Going forward, all scripts will be original to this channel. Though, for those that do enjoy reading my content, I will host my scripts on a blog I hope to launch in the coming month. With that will also come more info on World Mutiny and my plans to breathe new life into game journalism. I hope you'll follow me and my work. There may be some bumps in the road as I settle in, but I'm excited by the future and I think I can do something great. As for supporting my content, I will be keeping this channel ad-free, so please, ad block everything. Fuck the sponsors. If you like my work and want to support it, check the description to this video below as I have a few ways you can help, but that will be purely your choice. I refuse to foist ads and other nonsense on those who'd rather not see them. To end this, I just want to thank you for your time, and I hope you'll stick by me as I begin my new journey as a content creator. You guys rock. Thanks again.